Welcome to this tutorial, and in this video I will be going through how to successfully navigate the Canvas site for this course. So at the top you have your account, and if you click on that it will provide you an opportunity to change or adjust your settings. Dashboard is going to give you basically a to-do list. You can see that to-do list over here. It's just another way to look at all of your courses. So mine's going to look a little different because I'm an instructor. Courses is going to list all of your classes that you have. So this is for Biology 210. So that's the one we're going to click on. Calendar is just that. It's going to be a calendar that you can use to navigate assignments. So I actually am not going to recommend, which I know sounds kind of weird, that you use the calendar. You can use it, but it's better to work through the modules, which is what I'm going to show you. But the calendar is a good feature if you want to just print this out or take a screenshot so that you know when assignments are due. And you can click on them to get the assignments. So to make sure you don't miss anything, the best way to do this is to work through a module. Inbox, that's a way that you can email me. And studio history, we're not going to go through. And then help is just exactly what it sounds like. So let's go back to courses and pick the course that you're registered in. So then you're going to see what's called a home page. So the home page, I have a little cute picture of the textbook with a few microbiology topics, some plates, some viruses, etc. My information, so I'm Professor Good, my email. So if you, for whatever reason, can't find my contact information, it's right here on the home page. My office location, office hours. If I have them in person, they will be listed out, the days and times. But for the summer, I'm typically going to be virtual by appointment. And then a little welcome and some suggestions on how to save your settings. So that way I will email you all kinds of announcements, and that way you get those announcements. All right, so the syllabus, that's where you're always going to start in a class, is with the syllabus. So here is the syllabus. Read it. You don't have to print it unless you just want to print it. But it's going to provide all kinds of information, including due dates, types of assignments, etc. Announcements. So once it gets closer to the time when the course is going to start, you will actually see on that home page, which there aren't any yet because the class hasn't started, but there will be announcements right here. Those will also be, as long as you have it set up that way, sent to your email. So checking your email frequently, checking announcements frequently, will make sure that you're up to date on what's going on in the course. And you can change things over here, your stream, your calendar, your notifications. You can change all of those at your leisure. All right, what I want to spend the most time talking about are the modules. So I'm actually going to skip them for a minute and come back to them. So grades is where you would check your grades, obviously. And there's a nice what if feature. So if it's getting towards the end of the semester and you're like, what do I need to get on the final to get, a B? Then you can type in different numbers and it will kind of tell you what that number needs to be. So McGraw-Hill Connect is not going to work from my student view, but this is something that if you want to read the textbook, which there is a textbook that goes along with this course, you would click on McGraw-Hill Connect, and it's going to show you something similar to what. So yours is not going to be identical to this because this is now the instructor view, but it will be similar. So if you click on Connect Library, it will actually take you to a screen, and on the far left side, it'll say e-text. So if you just want to read the textbook, again, recommend, then you can click on that and it will take you to the textbook. The textbook is really nice and interactive, which I will show you. So here's the ebook for this class. You could click on that. And again, your screen's going to look a little bit differently, but as soon as you get in, it's going to be the same. So these three little dots, or three little lines with dots, is going to be the table of contents. So let's say I want to know about bacteria and archaea. I can pick that. Let's say I'm going to start with the beginning and I just want to read. So the nice thing is it will actually read it aloud to you. So if you're somebody that is an auditory learner, there you go. And as we scroll down, we also have all these interactive features. There's objectives, and let me find a page that will have a video. So if there's a video, it says watch the video. So right there Embedded in the text is a video that you can watch. And just to advance to the next page, you just click the arrow and you just click through until you get all the way through whatever chapter we are on. Now, if you're someone like myself that needs a little bit bigger font, you can make the font bigger or smaller. So maybe you don't need it that big, and you can highlight things. You can, if you click on that, it says clear highlights, teacher notes, which I don't have any teacher notes in here. I used to do that, but the textbooks change so often that I couldn't keep up. So you can highlight, okay, do all kinds of things with the eText. Again, you paid for this, use it. So another way to get to the eText. So if I go to modules, and college tools are just that, they're college tools for ICC. I'm not going to cover that. If you click on the link, it just provides a bunch of ICC resources. So I actually have most of these resources also in the modules. So modules is where we want to live most of the time. So let's go to modules. So modules, you can expand, you can collapse. So this is a lot of those tips. So this is a link to the testing center. You take a test in the testing center. Academic support services. So this is free tutoring. So you can click on that and make an appointment. They also have different things like workshops for test anxiety, etc. So you can click on that to get to their site. At the bottom, I have some resources for if you're having trouble with Proctorio or Connect, and that's my list of what I know how to do. So that's a really good comprehensive list. That's also on the syllabus. And then there's just a few other resources in here. Here's a list of FAQs. This is basically the syllabus boiled down into a few snippets. So it kind of makes the syllabus easier to kind of navigate as far as the FAQs. So as we scroll down, if you need help, I have these how-to guides. So how to do Nearpod, which you've probably already done that. How to review a quiz. If you're like, I want to go back and look at that quiz, which I recommend, and see what I missed. That's how you can do that. How to complete orientation assignments, etc. So let's talk about SmartBooks. For this particular course, for this particular 8-week session, they are not graded, but they are there as practice. So if you're someone that has used these in the past and you really thought they were beneficial, which it's kind of 50-50, either students love them or they don't. So if you did like them, or if this is another way you want to read the textbook, you would just click on these and it would take you right to the chapter. And if you don't know what a SmartBook is, it basically is a series or deck of cards that asks you questions that I have tailored to the topics we are going to cover. However, these are not questions that I wrote. So it is possible that you could get a question that I did not write, and you're like, we didn't cover that. I can't select every single question. So occasionally one will sneak through. So there's 0 points, but you're also going to notice that the due date is all after the course is over. I have to put a due date, otherwise you can't use them as practice. So none of them are due, but I just stuck August 1st on there so that way you can use them for practice. And again, if you click on the SmartBook, it will take you to the chapter in the eText, which is another way to read the chapter. Okay, so once we're in a module, so this is a real one, so lesson 1 is where we're going to start. The first thing you're going to see is the lecture notes. Sometimes there's a little extra worksheet. In this case, there's a history summary. And we're usually going to have objectives. I don't want any of this. So this is nothing that I'm collecting. This is not worth points. This is the material, lecture resources, that you're going to use to learn the material. Now this summer, 2024, I'm being super nice and generous, and I am actually going to print the lecture packets and provide them to you. You don't even have to buy them. Now, normally you do have to buy them, but I made a bunch of edits, and I didn't have time to have them sent to the bookstore. So you're welcome. If you're watching this and it's a different semester than 2024, you may have to purchase it from the bookstore if you want it. So the lecture notes are basically the outline of the material, and you're going to use the Nearpods. So here's this one, Microscope and History Nearpod, to fill in those lecture notes, to fill in the missing parts. This is what you're going to use to study for exams and quizzes. The summary is just that. So all 3 of these are in that packet. It's a history summary. Students don't really love the history portion of this chapter. However, you will see it on almost every exam. So the sooner you get those people and what they did in your brains, the happier you're going to be. Then the objectives are just basically a list of things you need to know. You can use this as a study aid if you want. If not, totally up to you. Again, I'm not collecting any of those. Then for each day that you have an assignment, it will say the day of the week, in this case, June 4th, and everything is due at 11:59 p.m. And since this is the first one, you're going to watch the Nearpod over orientation in the syllabus. There's a little video, it's 2 minutes, on how to do a Proctorio quiz. Take the Proctorio quiz, watch the video before you take the quiz, and then here is that Nearpod that corresponds with the notes. So you click on the Nearpod and you listen to each slide, hit the little blue arrow, and then when you're all smart, you take the quiz. So this is going to take you to Connect, where the quiz is going to be timed, 10 minutes, 10 questions. So let's just look at one more, because this one doesn't have quite as much. So lesson 2 is kind of an outlier. It's on a Friday. Normally they're Tuesday, Sundays, but we got to sneak in a little bit more. So again, chapter 1 notes, chapter 1 objectives. Here's our Nearpod and a homework. This is typically what a lesson will look like. And then you take the quiz. You're just going to keep doing that. Okay. Same thing for the next module. Pretty simple. And something you often like to know about, there is a little extra credits. You can read that as far as the instructions, and it's due before the test. And since exam 1 is proctored, only exam 1 this semester, then that's where you would find exam 1. And then I will open the next module or set when we get closer to unit 2. So that's how you navigate Canvas and complete your assignments.